A lot of things have happened over the last couple of days, ranging from Kendrick finally coming out of hiding and putting out a new verse in 2 years, to apparently Donda being released without Kanye's permission. Welcome to the Bar for Bar podcast, and we got a lot to talk about. So, before I get into all this, I might sound a little annoyed or whatever, because we had a power outage the other day, and my computer's been bugging since. And hopefully now it's good, but we'll see. Anyways, getting right into it, we'll start with Kendrick. So, last Tuesday, I believe, Baby Keem put out an announcement that Family Ties, the track with him and Kendrick, will be coming out that Friday, which was the 27th. And with that, I think not necessarily that same day, but like a day or two later, he came out with like a snippet, which was just a portion of Kendrick's verse, but reversed, in which everyone immediately just reversed again, so to hear it normally, and it sounded good. It sounded pretty good. But aside from that, the thing that caught my eye was it looked like a movie poster or like a title screen sort of thing, and you know how it would say like who's in here and all that. It had Baby Keem and Romani, but then it didn't say Kendrick. It said Oklahoma, which led me to believe that the verse that we're getting on this track is probably going to be similar to what we'd be hearing, or that same sort of energy, on Kendrick's next album with TD, which is also his last album with TD. So, with the song itself, when it came out, I already did a breakdown, so I'm not going to go super into it, but it was a pretty solid song. Baby Keem did much better, in my opinion, than I had thought he would do. Because in general, for me, Keem is more of a vibe rather than, I don't really listen to him for lyrics per se. Not saying that he doesn't have lyrics to listen to, but, you know, it's more just the overall sound to me. But here, he had some pretty solid lyrics. And I think that was intentional because he knew that Kendrick was going to come hard with it, and he's like, I can't be completely shown up on my own track. Regarding the rest of the track, though, it does feel a bit disjointed, I'm not going to lie. Because I don't know, I honestly don't know how often I'm going to go back to it as a song itself, like rather than just wanting to hear Kendrick. Because there is a beat switch with Keem's verse, which is a lot smoother. But then when it gets to Kendrick's verse, it's a really hard cut to a different beat, which it's not bad, but it does feel a bit out of place. And it kind of makes me feel like that track might not sound the same on the Melodic Blue whenever that decides to come out, because it just doesn't necessarily flow as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just like a random throwaway verse from Kendrick, or if it's like a prelude to his album or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see. Regarding the Melodic Blue, that needs to come out soon, because Baby Keem has a bunch of new songs out, and especially with this song, he's going to have a lot of attention and a lot of eyes on him, a lot of ears on him, and you need to take advantage of that. And given that this is probably going to be delivered to us via PG Lang, I think Kendrick is also aware of this, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see. I wouldn't be surprised if we get the Melodic Blue in like a month or two, like at the latest. Like that, any longer than that, it's you might be squandering that potential. And I think they're almost there, because like a couple days ago, Keem said that it sounded like they're finishing the sequencing and stuff, so could be there. Getting into Kendrick's verse, he just sounds angry. He goes from talking about like all the people who came out last year, just kind of out of the woodworks in support of Black Lives Matter, when they probably never did it in the first place, and they're only doing it because it was a cool thing to do. And then just, taking random shots at people. Like, he said he could shake his ass and take him to class like Megan. He also said that, unlike Kanye, he's still an old school Gemini. So it just, random shots like that. The other thing was like, oh god, my USB stuff disconnected again. Great. The other thing that I saw I heard that I enjoyed was, what was it? How he said brother. So it's interesting because like it took me a little while to like really form my thoughts on why he was saying it like that and all that. And to me, it really just sounds like he's emulating white people who try to approach Kendrick or other black people in general. And they're trying to be nice and like just be like, oh, I'm not like afraid of you. I respect you as a person. You are my brother. But they say the hard R, which really just sounds like they're saying the N-word with the hard R. So I just thought that was interesting. I don't know exactly what he's trying to say with that, but I feel like it's something along those lines. But yeah, I don't know how often I'm going to really return to that song, but I enjoyed it overall, I'd say. Other than that, we can move on from Kendrick at that point, I think. So then going to Kanye. On the 26th, which was a Thursday, he had his latest listening party. I think it was the third one. In Chicago. And there it was different. So they set up basically a house, which was a replica of his mother's house. And I didn't watch it, but I'm just going off of what I heard and like the little snippets that I've seen. It was interesting. I mean, I understand the point of the house. It's like just because it's symbolic because it was his mother's house. And just prior to that, he reportedly filed for a name change to change his name from Kanye West to Ye. So at the event, he, I guess, lit himself on fire, kind of like in a way to symbolize a rebirth. So him going from Kanye to Ye, and then there was also this allusion to him and Kim getting back together. So, there was a handful of things that just seemed very interesting. Aside from that, one of the more interesting things in not the greatest way is that he had Marilyn Manson and DaBaby there, which I don't really care for either of those people, and I think most of y'all can figure out why. But I mean, talking to my girlfriend about it, like her thought process behind it was that maybe it's because like Kanye found Jesus and God, and he's a man of God now, and he's like, maybe we should be able to forgive them and let them, be reborn as I have, which that's cool, but I would prefer Kanye to just tell me that rather than leaving it up to my interpretation, because as of right now, it just sounds like you're just working with people and don't really care about them as people, just their music, which that's also a really tough thing to do, like separating the artist from the music and the music from the person or the artist as a person. So, but that's a whole nother discussion. And then on Sunday, which honestly makes a lot of sense for a Kanye release as of now because that is the Lord's Day. Donda came out Sunday morning, and just before that release, like a couple hours, like in the middle of the night, on Saturday, Kanye, as he does, posted random screenshots on his Instagram, both of conversations. One of them seems to be someone in his team talking about how DaBaby's verse on the album was being held by his management. Also, that verse. So going back a little bit, the listening party seemed to just be more, at least just from what I've seen and heard, like, and I didn't watch the whole thing, seems to be like him just showing the updated songs and new songs that he made for the album, not necessarily the whole thing. So the thing that I saw a lot of people talking about was how originally Jay-Z was on the song Jail, and he still is, but at the listening event it cut, that verse was cut and they put DaBaby's verse on it, which some people liked. I thought it was okay, but also fuck DaBaby. So there was that, and then going into what I was saying just prior, Kanye was talking to someone in his team, and they were saying how DaBaby's management was holding that verse. And then he posted another screenshot of him talking to DaBaby, and DaBaby was like, "Yo, I'm trying. I'm like, I'm not holding it back," basically. And it was interesting too because when Donda originally came out, like early on Sunday, the track Jail Part 2 wasn't on there. By the time I listened to it, it was on there. So that was pretty quickly fixed. But I guess a couple hours after it came out, like a couple hours after I listened to it, so, and given it's a 2-hour long album, maybe like 8 hours after it came out, Kanye posted this picture on Instagram saying that, what was it, Universal put out the album without his permission, which to me is just kind of silly. Like, how would they put it out if you didn't turn it in? Like, you had to have turned in something for them to release it. And honestly, it's probably just him doing more marketing. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he goes and like tweaks some songs, and it's just gonna keep changing, just like with The Life of Pablo, because this does feel like a more major release, similar to The Life of Pablo. But we'll have to wait and see for that. Regarding that album though, it is very long. It is nearly 2 hours long, which isn't a huge deal, but it's interesting that he chose to make it so long. Overall, though, I think it's pretty solid. I'm probably honestly not going to review it. Just, I mean, I enjoyed it, but like it's going to be one of those things that I don't go back to very often because it's a long album. For me, I like to listen to albums just on my drives, and if I can't finish the majority of an album in one drive, then I'm just like, okay, well, I'll listen to something else. But that's just me. I think I enjoyed the majority of it up until like maybe the last quarter of the album, and that was only because that's when it got a little bit more Jesus-y, which isn't a bad thing. It's just not really for me. Like, I'm just not really into more religious type songs anyways. Like, the way he was sprinkling it in earlier wasn't bad to me, but later on it just got a little bit much. But yeah, it wasn't bad. I thought it was pretty solid overall. I think a lot of people were kind of joking, which kind of goes right into the next topic, about how, like, well, I don't think anyone was joking. It was just me talking about it. How he waited for Drake to announce the release date of Certified Lover Boy to put out Donda. Because on the 27th, so a couple of days prior to Donda's release, just randomly on SportsCenter, there were these cuts to, I think it was Drake holding like a cardboard sign saying Certified Lover Boy September 3rd, which I feel like a lot of people were just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why is it cutting to this strange man holding a sign? What is CLB? What do you mean September 3rd? I just want to watch sports. um, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of overlap between Sports Center watchers or viewers and Drake fans, but I'm sure there's also a lot of people who are just like, I don't know what's happening. Someone's hacking my television. Um, so it was a very interesting way to announce an album. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, it could be that Kanye like saw that and he's like, all right, well, let's drop, because it's still technically the same week, but because they're so far apart, like Sunday to Friday, like that way it doesn't really affect either of them in terms of streams as much. Because realistically, how many of y'all are going to be still listening to Donda on Friday when Certified Lover Boy comes out? I think at that point everyone's going to be listening to that. But it's possible. Before I even get into Certified Lover Boy, apparently Donda's like it broke Apple Music records for streams, which, I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's impressive. And he's like number 2 in terms of like what was it, day 1 album streams on Spotify, something like that. It was like 100 million streams, and I mean only second to Drake, which we already knew that was the thing. But yeah, going back into Drake, just this morning he confirmed that Certified Lover Boy is coming on Friday with the album art, which is it's questionable and kind of reminiscent of that game cover. Basically, it just has it's just a bunch of emojis of pregnant women, and it's like, was it like 3x3, so like 9 of them. Yeah, it was kind of weird, honestly. I let me see if I can pull it up just to verify for myself. But yeah, it was interesting. Oh no, it was 4x3, so 12. So are there 12 tracks? I don't. I'm messing around with that. But yeah, it just says Certified Lover Boy, September 3rd, according to his Instagram post. But I really hope that's not the album art, because that's kind of lame. Like, it's not great. Anyways, that's that. It's very interesting to me that they haven't put out a single. Like, I feel like Drake is the type of person that would put out a single before an album. Just it seems like he would do that, but also it is Drake, so he's gonna get streams no matter what. So I can see him not doing it as well. I'm trying to remember now if Scorpion had any singles, but I know the albums prior for sure did. So it's a little weird to me. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it is. Again, I'm not huge on Drake. I mean, I'm going to listen to it, but I'm not going to be like, I don't think I'm going to be amazed by it, because I'm, again, not a huge Drake fan. So we'll see. We'll see how I feel. I'm obviously not going to review it, because I don't really care. Same with Donda. I don't think I'm going to review it, just because there's a lot happening on that album, and like, I don't really think I'm going to be returning to it frequently. And if you haven't paid attention, or if you're not aware by now, I really only review albums that I really like. Like, I have to like it enough to want to spend the time to write a review. So at least as of right now, because I only have time to do things that I want to do. Like, I'm not going to sit down and do something that I don't really care about. But yeah. I know a lot of people, like, with now I'm just gonna kind of touch on everything because I'm just seeing a bunch of random stuff up here. I know a lot of people, when the streams and stuff originally like were happening for the listening parties, like really gravitated towards Hurricane. I mean, it's a solid song, but I feel like I like a lot of the other songs more. But again, maybe it's just because I only really gave it a very solid 2 listens, like where I paid attention to every track. Everything else I just kind of had in the background. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone was hyping up Hurricane when it really wasn't the most amazing track on the album. Um, but you know, there's that. Other, oh yeah, Kanye also, what was it called? It was yeah. So Kanye earlier in the week also put up for sale a stem player, which is essentially the device that he was using at the listening events, where you can mix and just play around with vocals and beats, like in the like a whole like a handheld pebble looking thing, which I thought was cool. I was very tempted to get it because it's just weird and unique, but it's also $200, so I decided against that. um, but I'm sure people bought it. Like people on West Sub Ever are huge on Kanye, obviously, so it wouldn't be surprising. Aside from that, yeah, Certified Lover Boy, Kendrick, Lil Nas X announced that his album's coming out September 17th. There's a bunch of albums that came out this week, or well, I guess last week at this point, that I think are worth a listen. So, West Side Gun, Hitler Wears Hermes 8, part or side A, Sincerely Adolf, or whatever it is. That one's pretty solid. If you aren't aware of his Hitler Wears Hermes series, it's more along the lines of a mixtape, but this time around it seems more refined. So, because you know, West Side Gun, like when he actually does albums, it's a lot more solid and precise. But with Hitler Wears Hermes, it's a little bit more just songs kind of thrown together. That makes it sound so bad. Like it, you know, it's just their songs rather than like a whole sort of a running theme. But this time around, it's a bit more cohesive. Yeah, let's go with that. So I enjoyed it. I still need to listen to it a few more times, honestly, because right now it kind of feels more like his typical stuff, or typical Hitler Wears Hermes, where it's just songs. But it does feel like there's like a bigger theme to it, because like there's beat switches through the middle of a track, but like they're elongated to the point where it sounds like the track ended, but no, that's just a beat switch. And then like certain songs just flow right into the next one. Like it feels more purposeful, I guess. So I'm gonna have to listen to that a few more times to really get a clear idea of what he's going for. Other than that, Grip, he dropped his Shady Records debut. I Died for This. That I honestly was having trouble getting into, but I think it's because I haven't listened to him in the past. Like this is my first time listening to him, and all I had to go off of is what people were talking about him before the album came out. So my initial thoughts were like, oh, he's really good and super like conceptual and storytelling. But when I was trying to listen to it, I'm like, what are you like? That's the mindset I was going into. So I was really trying to like pick apart that. But then because I haven't heard him before, like his voice kind of threw me off, and the beats really threw me off. And I think the beats were like the biggest thing for me that just kind of like, I'm like, what is happening? Because there was a lot happening with those beats. Like they were very layered, which isn't a bad thing. It's just, you know, going from West Side Gun and like Boldy James and stuff like to that was a bit confusing to my ears. And even like the Kanye album seemed a little bit more straightforward than that. But I'm gonna have to give it a few more listens to really get a better opinion, because that's just how I feel like right off the first 2 listens. So, I need to understand where he's coming from. I'm not one of those people who's going to review an album off of 2 listens and give it a 2 because I don't connect with it. And I saw a lot of people talking about that on Twitter yesterday, because they're like, how are you going to review Kanye's album? It's only been out for a few hours. I'm like, I get it. Like, it's for clicks and stuff. But it's also like, whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna. That's pretty much all I got, though. Yeah, there's just been a bunch of little things to talk about, so here we are. Oh, there was another album that came out. Belly's album came out. I didn't listen to that yet, but I heard it's good. Anyways, that's all I got for now. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of any of these topics and what albums I should listen to. Just give me recommendations, I guess. Also, like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.